Mabe, who of course is the spokesperson for the ANC. As you know, members of the ANC's National Executive Committee have been holding meetings with the party's regional structures to, among others, convey and explain the ANC's decision to recall former President Jacob Zuma. And just from Pule, just before we went to news headlines, I think the three top reasons given, maybe not straight down the line, but what I gathered from is for the integrity of the party, the constitutional court ruling, and of course that transition of power. Have I got that right, Pule? Is that in a nutshell why our president was recalled?
Well, in a nutshell, it is those. But of course, when the ANC did this, it had exercised its powers. The National Executive Committee will have exercised its powers given to it by the Constitution, which is Rule 12.2.21.2, which allows it to recall its deployees, so that it is also understood that the National Executive Committee, out of its own collective wisdom, can decide that, oh, Leanne, today we are deploying you as an ambassador, and then recall you as an ambassador and deploy you as an MEC in a province. It does that from time to time. So those are part of the things that happen during a renewal. But the deployment or redeployment of cadreship of the movement, especially at the level that President Zuma would have led the organization, does not mean that they are now suddenly lost to the organization. They remain a fountain of wisdom, you know, because of the years of service that they shall have spent within the trenches of our own movement.
How is he feeling? Have you had words with him? Has he spoken to anyone since the 14th of February? Well,
I can say that, look, you will appreciate that beyond any other thing, we're also talking about human beings here.
Of course,
of course. But what has comforted us, we the younger generation, I mean, we are far young. I mean, I have had the special privilege of leading with President Zuma when I was only 32 years. I was the youngest in his previous National Executive Committee. And I can tell you he's a very warm person. The work he did in the country, the rollout of the National Development Plan. I mean, even when he was going to speak on the resignation, the kind of smile he gave to the press. You know, this is a man who has always carried that kind of energy. You know, I think what we can all learn from him is his sense of character and discipline, and coming in and accepting the overall pronouncement of the organization. Just imagine what would have happened if the ANC would have gone and voted with the opposition. You know, then some of our MPs would have struggled to sleep.
Indeed, it wouldn't have been a good situation.
Then suddenly have been haunted by conscience. You know that. But what did you do to this organization of Nelson Mandela? You know. So now in the centennial year, it is important that one of the things we do to display and demonstrate our own commitment to the overall discipline and unity of our organization is to do things that show the general public that the ANC is acting as one. Now, when a cadre accepts a decision of because President Zuma might not have agreed with the chronology that followed the recall, but he didn't defy, which is very important. Having said what he needed to say, he still came and accepted the decision of the leadership by way of his own resignation. He
certainly did. He looked very angry in the afternoon, but then by the evening, he seemed to have accepted his fate. I need to just, a minute or two with you left. That's all I've got, so I want to rush this along. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, reports coming out in the newspapers that she has had a meeting with Ace Magashule and President Cyril Ramaphosa stating that she wants to retire, she wants to step away from that. However, we're seeing a press statement coming out this morning saying that that's all nonsense. What's the truth? Well,
I think that, look, there are attempts to try and, isolate Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma, castigate her own character, assassinate her own character and all of that. You will remember that even in the build-up to the 54th National Conference, she has always said that she will be the first to embrace whoever emerges. And you saw that. She went on stage, embraced President Ramaphosa, and continued to express her commitment to serve the people of this country. So it's a bit unfair to speak like that about a cadre of her own caliber. I mean, if the press has got any other view, they must also give her an opportunity to express herself.
Yeah.
Because she continues to serve as a member of parliament. I mean, if we are to disclose on this one, she was anonymously voted by members of the NEC to serve in the National Working Committee, which in itself is a display of confidence in her ability to continue leading.
Yeah. So for now, we're going nowhere. She is staying where she is, and she will be an active member. She remains
a servant of our people and committed to our unity.
Finally, and very quickly, Pule, reshuffles. That's what we've been talking about. Everybody's expecting that to happen. I mean, some are saying as early as today we could see a reshuffle. Again, that's at the prerogative of the president when that is going to happen, and the appointment of a deputy president. Where are we at?
Well, Leanne, to borrow from you, really, I mean, your last statement says it all. That's the prerogative of the president. I don't think that we should enter that space. Of course, I mean, the ANC has got national officials led by the president. They will be able to meet and provide leadership. Because if we will all want to be involved in the things that the top leadership is supposed to be doing, you can just imagine the kind of chaos that is going to be there.
Yeah. All right, Pule, we'll leave it there. I've got my producers shouting at me, telling me we've got to wrap. We've got so much more coming up, but we really appreciate your time. Pule Mabe from the ANC, talking to us about some of those pressing issues right now. Let's take a break.